they are able to watch the session later and take some notes as well. And I would like to welcome our international student advisor, Lubna Ahmad, who came to join us and to tell you a little bit about international student services and answer some of your questions.
Thank you very much, Susanna. My name is Lubna Ahmad, and maybe while I'm talking, you can start sharing my screen. Hopefully all of you can see it. You can see it fine, Susanna, yeah?
Yes, very well, great. And if you need any help, I can also help out with like taking the notes or links and stuff like that, whatever you want, I can help out, okay?
Sounds good, thank you. So yeah, my name is Lubna Ahmad, as you can see on the screen. I'm an international student specialist, but I'm also a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I work with international student services under the University of Alberta International Office. And I've been in this role for quite some time. And our office, as the title implies, we are the only ones authorized to be advising international students on immigration-related matters. But we also do so much more. We're going to talk about that as I'm going through the presentation. And I do, I'm always happy to see, like Susanna said, the students face-to-face. We do online advising daily. Each advisor has like 2 hours of advising per day with up to 12 students. And it's always nice to be able to, while we can't be in person, to at least see your face. But it's always okay, like if a student says, I'd like to have my video off, it's totally fine for us. But it's always like, we do like to see that personal interaction by looking at someone's face. But as I go along, if you want to switch your video off, it's totally fine. Okay, so just for the sake of time, I'll move on with the presentation. And by the way, مرحبا للإخوة والأخوات اللي بيتكلموا عربي. I also speak Arabic, and in our advisor team, we have advisors who speak multiple languages. So if you need assistance with someone who speaks Mandarin, we have 2 advisors who speak Mandarin. Possibly another advisor, we're still waiting confirmation, but they speak another language. Anyway, we'll move on. To start off, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that we are located on Treaty 6 territory, which is a traditional gathering place for diverse indigenous peoples, including Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Nakota Sioux, Iroquois, Dene, Ojibwa, and well, I can't pronounce this one, but many others whose histories, languages, and cultures continue to influence our vibrant community. Who we are. We are located in the International Services Center. If you've been on campus at all, main campus, North Campus, then we are in the Tele Center, which is this building right here, and it's located on the corner of 87th Avenue and 111th Street. We're going to talk about who we are as International Student Services, what services we provide, and how you can connect with us. I'll have our connect. I should have it on the last slide. If I don't, I'll add it there. But because this is being recorded, I also want to wish to point out some of the immigration information I'll be talking about is relevant as of today, January 18, 2022. For the most up-to-date information, always refer to the IRCC website, just in case things change, and things change a lot, especially during COVID. Okay, so this is a team picture we have. So that's me at the back. Next to me is Wenbi, Xiaobing. These are our 2 Mandarin speaking advisors. Caroline, our supervisor there, Kumari. Nora was an advisor who recently left to another institution, but we're hiring someone else in her place, and then Gavin and Sarah at the back as well. So this is what ISS looks like, and the advisors are basically us 4 for now, but hoping to have another one join us in the near future. So what do we do? We answer immigration questions. Like I said, we're all certified immigration consultants, so we have the authority from the government and the most up-to-date information to be advising students on immigration matters. We also do advising on general and personal matters as well. So we get questions about financial aid, we get questions about problems with the landlord, we get questions about how do I get my health insurance, where do I go to get my social insurance number, things like that. So it's not all immigration related, but we also have like some students come to us to say, I was required to withdraw, what are my options, what can I do, things like that. So, or even if they come and ask a question, oh, I need help with registering for courses, even if it's something we can't help with, we know where to direct the students to. So we hope that you find us like the go-to service. Like if in the event you don't know who to ask, you can ask us and we can direct you to where you need to go. We also provide financial aid opportunities for certain students, volunteer opportunities. Of course, the volunteering opportunities right now during COVID are a little bit more limited than before. Before we used to have so much more. And we run certain programs and activities, which I will tell you about as well. And I'll try to slow down. Sometimes I forget myself and I speak too fast, but I will try to slow down. But if you have questions, do let me know. Susanna, there, I don't know if I should be paying attention to the ringing sound.
No, it's okay. The students who are just joining in, it's okay. I will just put the Google Doc again, so they have access.
I don't want to miss if someone's raising their hand or something, because I can't see the list of attendees.
Don't worry, I will facilitate. So if there is anything, then I will stop. I will ask you a question. So no worries.
Sounds good. Okay, I'll continue then. So these are some of the services and activities that we provide as in ISS. Now, I'm just going to go a little bit of an overview about what immigration information you need to be aware of. Now, all foreign nationals who come to Canada come under one of these three categories. They either enter as visitors or as students or as workers. If you, to understand which category you fall under, and most of you, I would assume, are coming now, are in the audience are already under a study permit holder, so they are all students. But sometimes we have visiting researchers who come on a work permit and not necessarily a study permit. Sometimes we have short-term students, like exchange students, who are just coming for one term. So short-term studies doesn't require a study permit, so they can enter as visitors. So these are different categories for the foreign nationals that are on campus and are here as visiting students or current students or whatever. So so the focus is going to be on the study permit because I would assume all of you have a study permit at this point. What the very important thing you need to consider and make a note of is when your study permit expires. This is very, very important because what gives you legal status is your study permit. It's not the visa. Most of you come with a study permit and a visa, a sticker on your passport. The visa on the passport is just an entry document. So regardless of the expiry date on the visa, your legal status in Canada is maintained through your study permit. So if the study permit expires, that means you no longer have legal status in Canada and you should not be studying in Canada. That's why we advise even 4 to 5 months before the expiry date that you start the process of extending your study permit application within Canada. It can be done within Canada. It's very straightforward and it's done online. And we definitely can help with that. And we have also like instructional video on our website that also explains the process. But that's the first thing I would advise you to do is go check your study permit, save it on your Google Calendar, your phone, wherever you keep notes of important deadlines, put it there so that you are aware about it ahead of time and take care of it ahead of time, well in advance. Because like I said, if your study permit expires, you should not be studying. You have 90 days to restore your status, but during that time, you should not be studying. So it's always problematic if that happens. A common question we get is, can I work during my English language school courses? So I heard that most of you are in BP program. If you're in a BP program and you're doing your EAP courses right now, you can only work on campus. If you are just taking the English language school courses, you're not in a BP program, so you're just doing EAP courses, and then you're going to be starting an academic program separately after you're finished, then you can also only work on campus, but you have to meet the following criteria. Be registered full-time, so maintain your registration full-time. Have a valid study permit with the work authorization. So go back and read the remarks or the conditions on the study permit. There should be a statement that says may work or may accept employment. If you have that statement, that means you can work, and you have to get a social insurance number as well. And then you're free to find on-campus work. And on-campus work means any location within campus boundaries. If you find a job, but you're unsure if it's within campus boundaries or not, you can talk to us and we can confirm whether or not it's considered on campus or outside campus. Can I work off campus? So English language school students alone who are studying EAP are not allowed to work off campus. BP students will be allowed to work off campus, but only when they start their academic courses and they register full-time in their academic courses. So BP students, you'll have to wait a little bit until you are fully registered or you're registered full-time in academic courses, and then you're allowed to work on campus and off campus up to 20 hours a week during your academic term. Now, one thing to remember though, is sometimes you have to change your study permit conditions, because if you start BP or ELS courses first, sometimes the IRCC officer will put, you can only work on campus, or a statement that says not authorized to work off campus. If your study permit has that, and you're now eligible to work off campus, you will need to change your study permit. And it's something that we can help you with. So go back, read the information on your study permit, see if you can still use it to work off campus or not. If there's a statement that prohibits you from using it to work off campus, you have to make changes to the study permit, and we can guide you with that. Now, once you become in your academic program, just worth noting, if you are in a bachelor degree program where you have to take courses in fall and winter, but you don't need to take courses in spring and summer. Spring and summer is then considered a scheduled break, and students, if they're full-time in the winter term and then full-time in the fall term, they can actually work full-time off campus as well. But we can talk about that later you can discuss that later through a one-on-one advising appointment to see how it applies to you. Okay, other work considerations. Once you are in a degree seeking program and you maintain full-time registration for the duration of your program, you will be eligible to apply for the post-graduation work permit. ELS students the program does not qualify for the post-graduation work permit. You have to complete a degree seeking program first before you qualify and study for at least 2 years or more as a full-time student. And because the ELS program doesn't qualify for PGWP, post-graduation work permit, then spouses of students studying in the ELS program are not eligible for the open spousal work permit that other students in academic degree programs are. So if you're here with a spouse and you're in a ELS and you have questions about your spouse working in Canada or what their options are, you can talk to us. I know it doesn't apply to many of you, but in case it does, you feel free to book a one-on-one appointment with one of our advisors. As I mentioned this earlier, one of the things needed to be able to work, in addition to the proper remarks, conditions on the study permit, in addition to being full-time, is to get a social insurance number. And you can apply for it once you have the study permit with the correct work conditions and your passport for ID purposes and proof that you're living in Edmonton. Once you can show those 3 things, you can apply. There's 2 ways to apply, either online or you book an appointment through the Service Canada website. and go in person to apply for it. So again, if you are interested to know more, you can book a one-on-one appointment with an advisor in ISS. Health insurance. So those of you on a study permit, and this is very, very important, those of you on a study permit that is longer than that 12 months or longer, you should all be applying for Alberta Healthcare Insurance Plan. You're not automatically enrolled in this plan. You have to apply for it in person through a registry in Canada. And you need the same thing. So you need your passport, your study permit, and proof that you're living here. So proof of your address in Edmonton. And then you can go and apply for it. It's very important, especially now during COVID and getting your QR code, Alberta QR code and things like that. It's very helpful to have your Alberta healthcare number. And that means you won't have to pay out of pocket when you need to see a doctor or access health services, right? If you're here for less than 6 months, then you will be enrolled automatically in the University of Alberta Health Insurance Plan, UAHIP. You pay for that with your tuition, and there you have to get your health card number online on their website and things like that. So if you have, again, questions about health insurance, you're welcome to book a one-on-one appointment with us. Now with COVID and everything, and with the vaccinations being available to all residents in Alberta, it's very important if you are not already fully vaccinated, to make sure that you get your full doses of vaccination in Canada. You need it to get your campus ready pass, if you need to go on campus for whatever reason, or if at some point studying moves to in-person again. You can take your vaccination at the University Health Center or the University Pharmacy. However, you do need your Alberta healthcare number. If you do not have the Alberta healthcare number, then you need to contact Alberta Health Services directly to get your vaccination. Once you get your vaccination, or if you are here with vaccination from outside Canada, you can still get your vaccination proof from Alberta Health Services, your vaccination QR code, once you upload the proof of your outside Canada vaccination. Again, you still need your Alberta healthcare number, so hopefully you can do that if you haven't done so already. So we talked about some of the activities and programs we run, and there was a question about improving my English. We run the English Conversation Club every Friday afternoon from 3 to 4. The information is on our website. You just go to the ISS website and there's going to be information. Or maybe I can share the links with Susanna if I don't know. I don't remember if I included the link for it. But it's a drop-in basis. You don't need to register. And it is online for now. At some point, we hope to have it in person as well. But for now, it's online.
Here, just to interrupt you, we already have that link in our ELS schedule. So every Friday we have the link to your conversation club.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So I'm glad to know. So yeah, please join in. Like, we've heard good feedback from students who do attend on a regular basis, that they found it helpful to make connections, to have a platform where there's no stress, to practice English. Because you're not going to get an exam at the end or anything like that. So it's the no stressed environment. So feel free to attend whenever you have time. As well, for those students who are staying long-term, you might look up the iWork program that we have. So it's designed to help students, even in their first year, to start thinking about building a career in Canada. So what are the things I need to be considering? What does the job search process look like? What is required to prepare a good resume? How can I use my LinkedIn profile to increase my chances of getting work in Canada? Things like that. So it addresses a lot of information that's relevant to international students to help facilitate you starting your career, building a career in Canada, and not necessarily. Yes?
There is one workshop tonight, actually, on January 18th, right? From I think 6 to 7 p.m. or something like that, if you're interested to work in the residences. So I can share that link as well in the chat.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you very much. That would be great. Yeah, so check out the information we have on that. Like, I really recommend you go to ISS website, because we have so much valuable information on our website about different programs and things that you do, immigration stuff and travel information as well, things like that. It is very important, especially if you're here long term, to think about your well-being, right? This is important, and lots of students disregard it or don't make it a priority. Their priority is, oh, I need to get good grades, I need to work hard. That's important too, but there needs to be a proper balance, especially with COVID and being isolated and all that. You need to think about your well-being mentally, physically. Try to be active whenever possible. I mean, it's not a complete lockdown. Parks are still open, gyms are still open, as long as you are careful when you access public areas, and just try to be active when possible. There are also university groups you might be able to join as well, like activity groups or sports groups. So look up the information, see what interests you, and participate, and reach out if you have, you know, any mental health challenges, even if it's just homesickness, or you're feeling lonely, isolated because you don't see anybody day in, day out. So talk to somebody. Like, we're happy to talk to students who, and we've seen students in this situation, and we've done our best to share resources and direct them to proper professional help and things like that. So please, please, please always reach out to your teachers, to your advisors in ELS, to us in ISS. We are all here to make sure that you have a successful and healthy experience as an international student at the University of Alberta.
And here, if you don't mind, I'm just going to interrupt. Just when the students are doing something for their mental health, I would say just stay also outside of your group, your language group. So if you're a Chinese student, it's a really good idea to meet students from South America, from Japan, from Kuwait, you know, from other places, because it gives you something different and a little bit more to chat about.
Yeah, for sure. That's always very helpful advice. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but if you stay within your cultural group the whole time you're in Canada, we've seen the students, for example, just as a basic English language level is not as good for those students as the students who, like Susanna said, no, participate in groups where there is other international students from different regions or other domestic students where you have to practice your English. And because you're in a multicultural environment, it's always good to help you grow personally and professionally, to learn about different cultures and as well, and not only just practice your English. So that's really good advice, Susanna. Other top tips is what we just basically said, like these just get involved whenever possible. It's always good to stay connected and not be isolated. Understand what services are available on campus and use them. Know about them and use them. Talk to us if you want to know what else is out there. Seek help when needed, sooner better than later. Before if the problem gets more complicated or it becomes unsolvable, speak to someone as soon as you feel, well, this doesn't seem right, or, oh, I have an issue I'm worried about. Talk to someone right away, because it's always easier to find solutions when the issue you're concerned about is in its early stages, right? And always try to find balance. Yes, academics and grades are great, but so is your health. So always try to find the right balance. So yes, if you recently arrived and this is what Edmonton looked like when you came, have faith. things will change soon. In the next few months, you'll see spring coming, and the campus will become much more welcoming than what it looks like right now. And hopefully by then things will be more normal in person, more in person. And so you can go out there, enjoy the weather and the scenery, and meeting people out in the open and not through Zoom only. So because we have a really beautiful campus, which is next to the river valley, which is also amazing. Great for those who like to do hiking or jogging, or just taking a walk when the weather is nice. It's always a great place to be. So find out more about campus and just be out there if you're close to campus, or take the train if you're downtown and go to main campus and check it out. Make sure you're campus ready though, just so if you want to be in person there. This is our, okay, so I have our website there. Please contact us, check out our website. There's lots of resources there. And we have the iAdvise booking system, which you can use. So if you have your CCID, that's all you need to book your appointment. You'll book an online, for now it's online. At some point we had in person, but we don't have in person right now. It's a 10-minute online appointment through Zoom. You book it, you get a Zoom link, and then you'll just attend when the time comes. And you get 10 minutes of one-on-one time with the advisor to ask about whatever you want. And we are always happy to assist you whenever you have any questions or concerns.
Here, if you don't mind, just one more mention that sometimes students are apprehensive. They are scared to ask a question because they feel like it's a silly question. It's, like maybe I should not ask this question because maybe I should know. But here, Nora always used to say that no question is a bad question. So basically, whatever question you have, it's okay. You've got the 10 minutes to spend with the student on whatever question they have, right?
For sure, yes, of course, yes, and that's what we hope that you come out of this presentation, is that we are there to help. And like Susanna said, there is no question that is a silly question or not important. If it's important to you, or if you have a concern about it, then it's important to us. And you book an appointment, you have 10 minutes of our time to ask whatever you want. So yeah, feel free to, it's a one-on-one, it's private, there's no one there. And so you can ask whatever you need to ask during those 10 minutes of the appointment. So please utilize that service whenever you need to. We would be happy to help. So I'll stop sharing for now, and I'll open Susanna sent me your questions. Some have been addressed through the presentation, but I'll go over them. We still have half an hour, so I'll go over them now as well, just to make sure I've answered all the questions that were included. So I'll talk about the immigration questions first. Someone asked, would it be possible to do a part-time job while I stay in Canada? I hope that you have the answer to this question. Yes, you can. As an ELS student or doing BP courses right now, you can work on campus. The number of hours is not important when you're working on campus, but you cannot work off campus unless you're in academic program. So once you start your academic courses or you start your academic program, that's when you can work on or off campus. Okay. Next question, study permit and student visa. I'm not sure what the question is, but I talked about that. So the study permit is that paper document you got at the airport when you first came in, and the visa is the sticker on the passport. The visa is an entry document. It does not give you legal status in Canada. What gives you legal status is your study permit. So make sure it never expires, your study permit. You apply 4 to 5 months before the study permit expires. So you need to make sure. We've seen lots of students come 1 week, 1 month, 1 term after the study permit expires because they weren't aware that the study permit had expired. And so by then it gets very complicated. It's not that we can't help the student, we will help the student, but it gets too complicated at that point. How long does a visa renewal process take? So Right now, the current processing time, I noted it at the bottom, but this is as of January 18. These dates and times change. So the visa application is quite long, 147 days, and the study permit extension is about 2 months. We've seen it take longer. So they say on the website it's 2 months, but it can take longer. So that's why we say, oh, apply 4 or 5 months even before the study permit expire, because the process is if your study permit and visa are expiring, if the visa expires, by the way, nothing happens to your legal status in Canada. You're fine to remain in Canada. But once you get the new study permit, you can apply for a new visa with the new study permit. So that's how it looks like in Canada. You apply for a study permit first because that's the most important one. And then when you get the new study permit, you can apply for the visa. Can I extend my study permit in Canada? Yes, you can. It's online, straightforward. We have information. I'll give you the information on our website on the study permit extension. I'll put it in the chat. This is the, where's the chat? Oh, so this is the link to, we have an instructional video, we have a tip sheet, we have information on what documents you need to prepare for the study permit extension. And of course, we are always happy to review your documents for you whenever you want us to, before you submit your application, to make sure, you know, that everything is in place, nothing is missing. So I sent you the link in the chat there. How could I renew or extend my to about 4 years? Yeah, so in the read the information I sent you in the chat, the link I sent you in the chat, because it says there what documents you need from the university in order for you to extend this the study permit for the full length of your program. So there are some documents you need from the university, and that's what you'll use. And based on those documents, you'll get the extension, hopefully needed to cover the full program. Will it affect my visa because I only have language courses now? I'm guessing. I'm not sure what this question is. If someone is here who asked this question wants to elaborate, did anyone here ask this question? Okay, so no, being an ELS student right now, and assuming you continue to do an academic course later on, program later on, and get a degree later on, being in ELS right now will not affect your future in Canada. As long as you successfully complete another program, get the post-graduation work permit, get the Canadian work experience, you can even may qualify for permanent residency after that, right? So it should not affect your visa, it should not affect your legal status in Canada or even your future status. I'm currently in EAP, but my study permit is until 2025. What do I need to do? Well, if your study permit is till 2025, you can continue to use it once you finish EAP and you start your academic courses, because it's still valid. However, like I said, if the work authorization doesn't allow you to work off campus, but you want to work off campus, you might have to change your study permit, right? Even if it is valid till 2025, you'll need to change the conditions, which means you need to apply for a new study permit. But if the work conditions are fine and it's valid, even when you finish your BP courses and you're doing now your academic courses, it's totally fine to continue using the same study permit. I hope that answers the question. Some questions were more academic or university related. So this one is regarding tuition. And I understand how this can be frustrating with the new tuition guarantee model. We've had lots of students ask about this. So for example, this student paid for fall winter tuition fees under the guarantee model, which would be around $15,000, I'm guessing, but only did one EAP 140, and then they're going to do 145 in winter term. And so they're not taking academic courses, but they still have to pay, I guess, another $15,000, which is in your admission letter. You've got first year for BP students. It said there's a table, and first year tuition is like, for example, $30,000 per year. So that will be expected for you to pay in your first year, even if first year you spent it just doing EAP classes. That's not something that we have control over. you will need to talk to the registrar's office if you have any concerns about this. But that's part of the guarantee model. Is the guarantee model expects the students to pay fully for the program in the first 4 years of study. Now, if you need 5 years to finish because you spent the first year doing BP courses, that's fine, you can. You won't have to pay tuition in the 5th year if you paid the full program tuition already. You will only need to pay non-instructional fees in the last year remaining. So that's how the tuition model works, is you are expected to pay the full amount as per your admission letter breakdown, regardless of how many courses you take. So even if you take 3 courses, not 5 courses, you still have to pay the same amount, and then pay it off in 4 years. And then in the 5th year, if you continue to study, then you don't have to pay tuition, but you do have to pay non-tuition fees when you complete your program in the 5th year. But if you want to know more or make an argument as to why you don't want to pay this, you'll have to contact the registrar's office through the Student Services Center, because they're the ones responsible for tuition payment. Class requirements, I'm guessing someone is asking about academic class requirements, in which case, please talk to your academic advisor. So class requirements, like which classes to take, which courses to register. You're not sure, you finish BP courses, you want to know which academic courses to take, and you need to know today, because today is the deadline. Adding courses, you can do it today only, and then after that you can't do it. So talk to your academic advisor as soon as you can. I hope you have that information by now to understand which courses you need to be registering in, because they're the ones who they're the academic advisors, and they know about the course curriculum, the course outline, and things like what are prerequisites, what are not, and things like that. So that's, again, it's something we cannot help with, unfortunately. If I wish to apply for a master's degree, is there anything I need to plan for now? I would say if you know which master's degree you're interested in, look up the information and the admission process on this program online to know what are the requirements, so that you can, so what are the language requirements, what are the other admission requirements, so that you can start preparing and meeting those requirements. So when you're done with the language courses, for example, you're able to submit it. Now, the deadline to start an academic program, to apply, sorry, for admission for fall 2022, and this is for someone who's not in BP, right? I'm not talking about BP students. For someone who's just doing ELS and thinking about doing an academic program for fall 2022, the deadline to apply for admission is March 1, 2022. So it's very close. So if you are thinking about applying for admission for an academic course for fall, that starts in fall, you need to be applying before March 1. Now, if it's a graduate program, master's program, the deadline may be different, because graduate programs sometimes have their own timelines. But for undergraduate programs, yes, March 1 is the deadline usually. How can I get my One Card? You have to go to the One Card website, upload your photo, because that's always helpful. And then they'll contact you once your One Card becomes available, and then you can go in person to the One Card office in Hub Mall and pick up your card. So first, upload your photo, digital photo that you want to have on your One Card. It gives you instructions what the photo looks like on the website, and then they will contact you when your card becomes available. If I finish AAP 145, what will be the next course that I have to take? If you're in the BP program, once you finish 145, you can start your academic courses, right? So if you are BP Arts, then you're going to see what are the first year arts courses that you can take and register in those. BP Science, look at the Science, is it AILS? No, AILS, and then look at the AILS first year courses that you need to take. No, you can't use the One Card for the bus. There's a different card for the bus. There's the U passes for the bus, and I don't, as long as you, BP students, I would assume they qualify. I'm not sure if ELS students qualify for the U pass, Susanna.
I think so. I have seen students use the UPass, but now I'm not sure if they were VP students. I know VP for sure, BP students as well, but I think Elmira, you should be able to get the UPass. It's called, yeah.
How I can take EU pass? Hi.
From one card office, when you go get your one card, you can ask them about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm just putting it in the chat for you, Elmira, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that's for that question. If I finish 145, what do I do? If you're in BP, you'll take whatever academic courses, first year academic courses to the program you were admitted to. For if you're not in a BP program, then that the EAP is the final course. There is EAP 550 if you want to take an additional course, but that's usually for the English language, English for academic purposes for students who want to apply for a graduate program. So it's there. You can enroll in it after EAP 145 if you want to continue improving your English. But if you're a BP student, you should be starting to register in your academic courses. Okay, last column, which is just basically a variety of questions. What do I do if my visa or passport is lost? Good question. So first of all, make copies of all your documents. A copy of your study permit, copy of your passport, copy of your whatever document you have, even your one card. Make copies of these documents. When you apply for Alberta healthcare, it might be a good idea to actually apply for Alberta ID. You have to pay a fee for Alberta ID, but it's the same office where you apply for Alberta healthcare insurance, because when you have Alberta ID, you don't have to carry your passport around for ID purposes. You can just carry, it's a card, it's like a driver's license. You put it in your wallet. Problem solved. You can carry it around. It's not bulky like the passport, and it's not it's a less of a deal if you lose your Alberta ID versus your passport, right? But assuming someone does lose their passport and the visa on the passport and the study permit, let's say they lose everything. So the first thing is you need to notify your embassy to try to get a new passport. We recommend you file a police report to get a police report confirmation that your passport have been lost or stolen, whatever the case may be. And there's a process to replace your study permit. You can apply, it's a paper application. You have to pay $30 and then you apply to replace the lost study permit. The visa, you cannot replace it. You just have to apply for a new visa once your passport, the new passport is issued. But to replace your study permit, you do need a police report number. So it's always good to file a police report if these important documents get lost, okay? But to try to avoid getting them lost in the first place, like I said, get Alberta ID. That way you don't need to carry your passport around with you. Just keep it safe and sound at home. What advantages students can get in Canada for their living? I'm not sure. There's a very broad question, but advantages include is that for international students, there is a pathway to become a permanent resident in Canada. If that's a goal of yours, like to have long-term goals in Canada, get work experience and then become a permanent resident, that's one of the advantages of being an international student in Canada. Of course, being an ELS student alone does not get you to that pathway, but once you get in a degree or certificate or diploma program that qualifies under the post-graduation work permit, and you get the work permit, you get the Canadian work experience, you may qualify under the Canadian experience class to apply for permanent residency under express entry. So for those who wish to have be in Canada for a long time, that's one of the advantages that Canada offers international students. And as well, you know, having a Canadian degree is also it's a really good thing to have, even if you decide to go back home, right? It's always good to have a Canadian degree as well. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I hope I did. You can ask me later if I didn't. Vaccines, as I noted, the vaccines are available to everyone in Alberta, international students included, free of charge. So make sure you get your free vaccine to be able to be campus ready, to be able to access, businesses in Alberta and get the QR code and things like that.
Do you know, Lubna, here, maybe just a question. So if they decide to go to any pharmacy, because they can go to any pharmacy, even outside of campus, right? Do they just need to have, what do they need to have? Passport, perhaps? Passport?
Would they have Alberta? I would say get your Alberta healthcare before anything else.
Right, okay.
I would say get your, if you qualify for Alberta healthcare, get that before anything else. If you don't, then call 811. You have to book your appointment.
811, right? Yes, right. I knew there was some kind of procedure. I wasn't sure
Yeah.
whether to just call, because there are a couple of pharmacies that they provided, right, for people who don't have the Alberta Health. Okay, good.
Yeah, if you don't have Alberta healthcare, you have to call 811 and they book your appointment for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I understand. I don't know if that's changed, but that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, how to practice speaking and writing. We don't have any platforms for writing, but and I'm going to leave it to the experts, Susanna, your teachers, to tell you what other ways you can practice writing English to improve your writing skills. We do have the Academic Success Center on campus, which you can access once you start your academic courses. If you have questions and concerns or need supports, they have workshops and so resources that can help you with that. But for now, during EAP, you can ask your teachers, Susanna, your advisors, for tips and advice on what you can do now to help improve your English. What we have on, sorry.
I would just say come to the writing workshop tomorrow, but you can also check the workshops at the Academic Success Center. They are free, they're good, and I just shared the link. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Will we have online classes next term? Well, we know, I'm not sure, the English language school has their own system, but we know for academic courses, we are online till February 28th, until further notice. We, at some point, we hope that things will be in person. We'll know closer to February 28th. Worst case scenario, if the academic term remains online, we understand that there will be in-person components. So for example, the lectures can be online, but the final exam will be in person, for example. So that's why hold off traveling back home just because we're online till the 28th, because my understanding, even if the full winter term courses are going to be online, the exams or part of the courses requirements are going to be in person, especially the final exam. So make sure you're available to do that.
Yep.
I want to rent a house. How can I rent? So we have lots of resources on our website on what to consider as a renter, like what are the things you need to look for, understanding your lease agreement, and resources. Where can you look for what platforms you can search for rentals. So check out our website to find out more about it. And as well as the volunteering, we have as well on our website how to become a volunteer with International Student Services. You can also check out the Student Union. They may have volunteering experience as well. If you want to look outside Canada, you can also search the City of Edmonton volunteering opportunities. So there are lots of volunteering opportunities, even during COVID, not as many as before. I'll see if I can send you the link.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, I just did the housing again. Volunteering. Yes, it's a little bit harder to find volunteering, but as Lubna said, the City of Edmonton, for example, Edmonton Food Bank always takes volunteers. There is a little bit of a process to become a volunteer. Oftentimes you have to do like a check, you have to do a criminal records check. So sometimes that might take a little bit of time, but if you really want to, then you will be able to do that. Sorry, my computer is freezing here, which is
Yeah, no problem. And I can't find, where's the volunteer information? I sent the link to the volunteer Edmonton.
I am going to share the link to University of Alberta alumni. Even though you're not an alumni, but you belong to University of Alberta, you can find some volunteering opportunities that are also for current students. For example, a really popular one among students was a dino lab last year, where students were kind of cleaning the dinosaur bones. For example, we have Camila Maria here with us, who has been volunteering in the campus food bank, for example. So there are some volunteering opportunities to check out in those links that.
Yeah, and the links, and I sent the ones for us, the ISS volunteering page. And there is a volunteer registry with the student union as well. This only the BP students would qualify, but I don't think the ELS student, I don't know, you'll have to check for ELS students if they qualify under the student union volunteering opportunities.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you've got a bunch of resources there. Feel free to ask if anyone has any questions before I go. I'll be happy to answer them. You can just unmute yourself and ask your question if you have one.
Hi, I'm Joey, taking EAP 140 class, and it's
Hi.
really nice to meet you. And I'm just wondering, would it be possible if I can get the presentation, the PPT file, because that contains it feels like that contains very necessary information in there. So
Yeah,
would it
of
be
course.
possible?
Yes, Susanna, what I'm going to do is I just want to add a few other hyperlinks in the file, and then I'll send it to you as a PDF, and then you can share it with the students.
Excellent. And Joe, I am going to share the PowerPoint on the Student Center blog. The recording and the PowerPoint will be there within half an hour from the workshop today. Okay.
Thanks for your help.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have.
Yes, go ahead, Satuko.
Hi, I'm Satoko, and I am an international visiting student. And then, so I don't have QR code, Canadian QR code. But last day I went to the restaurant and I showed my proof of vaccine, but they don't allow me to dine in. So I want to take Canadian QR code. Can I get that?
Yes, Satuko, I'd like to ask, how long are you here for?
8 months.
8 months. So you got your study permit?
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 months. Are you? Do you take UAHIP?
Yes, 3.
You have UAHIP, University of Alberta Health Insurance Plan?
Yes, I took.
UAHIP. So you're not qualified. You don't qualify for Alberta Health Services. My understanding is there's going to be a process for it's in discussion right now, but there's going to be a process where international students can follow to get their QR code. It's not been finalized yet, and I don't have more information at this point in time. But my understanding is you should be able to, there is a process if you don't have Alberta Healthcare to upload your proof of vaccination and get the QR code as well. So what I can do is I can find that out for you, and then maybe share it with Susanna. Susanna, can I bother you? Just send me an email to remind me. I worry that because I'm be busy for the rest of the afternoon, but just send me an email to say, can you send instructions on how to get the QR code for students who don't have Alberta Healthcare? If you have Alberta, yeah, if you have Alberta Healthcare, there's the process is you have to go to the Alberta Health. There's a link. You enter your Alberta Healthcare information, upload your certificate, and you get your QR code. So I'll try to provide information for both and send them to Susanna, and then she can share it with everyone.
That's actually great, because I know we have a couple of students like that. So that's a great question. I didn't even think about that. Okay, great.
Okay,
I will do that.
that's good to know. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything else?
Actually, I'd like to ask about the part-time job stuff. And I saw that I am actually IBSB student here and came as a visitor visa. And you've mentioned that I can work here in the campus with the visitor visa, but it
No,
says
no,
that
not, Joe, not with a visitor visa, no. You can work only if you have a study permit. Visitors are not allowed to work at all.
that's what I tried to ask actually. So would it be impossible to get a social insurance number?
Yeah, no, you can't as a visitor, no. You can't work even, right? Yeah, so that's why you can't get a social insurance number, because you don't qualify to work. Only students full-time with a study permit and a social insurance number can work. If you're here as a visitor because you're here short-term, you unfortunately can't work.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, I'm afraid that's all I have time for today. Thank you for the opportunity, Susanna. It's great meeting you all. I hope to see you soon during our advising sessions. Feel free to book an appointment whenever you can. I'll try to get the slides ready. I want to include just a bit more links for you so that you can have it as a resource. Yeah, we hope to see you soon. Wish you all the best of luck and a good experience at the University of Alberta.